Once upon a time, in a small village nestled near a dense forest, there lived a curious young boy named Leo. Leo had a fascination with the creatures of the forest, but there was one animal he was particularly drawn to, a sly, elusive fox. The fox was beautiful, with its sharp eyes and elegant movements, and every time Leo saw it dart between the trees, he felt an overwhelming urge to befriend it. He imagined how wonderful it would be to sit side by side with the fox, sharing the tranquility of the woods. Determined to gain the fox's trust, Leo made a plan. Every morning he would visit the same spot near the river, waiting quietly for the fox to appear. Day after day, Leo sat patiently, but the fox never came close. No matter how hard he tried, the fox always stayed just out of reach. Frustrated, Leo began talking loudly, telling the fox about his day, his hopes, and how much he wanted to be its friend. But the more Leo tried, the further the fox seemed to drift away. One evening, Leo's grandfather, an old wise man who had spent years studying the ways of nature, found Leo sitting alone by the river. Noticing his frustration, he asked, "Why are you trying so hard to catch the fox?" "I just want it to be my friend," Leo replied, "but the harder I try, the more it runs away." His grandfather smiled gently and said, "There are things we must never do when we want to attract others, whether it's a person or an animal. If you push too hard, if you're always there, or if you share too much too soon, you'll only scare them away." With that, his grandfather began to explain 10 simple truths rooted in Stoicism about how we should approach relationships. Leo realized that his eagerness had blinded him to what the fox truly needed: space, patience, and respect. Just like the fox, people need time and room to trust. By being calm, present, and genuine, without overwhelming or forcing a connection, you allow relationships to grow naturally. Leo learned that by focusing on his own growth and understanding the needs of others, true attraction and connection would follow. Through this story, we'll explore the 10 things you should never do with those you want to attract, and how the wisdom of Stoicism can guide us in building healthier, more meaningful relationships. So let's delve into our first vital point in the intriguing journey of attraction. Don't be too available. Gripping this concept can significantly transform how others perceive and value your presence. It's not about playing games or being elusive. It's about showing that your time and energy are valuable and not up for unlimited access. Now, being too available might seem like you're just being responsive and attentive. You might think it's showing that you care, but here's the twist. It can often backfire. If you're always the first to respond to messages, always free whenever they suggest hanging out, you might unintentionally convey that you have nothing else going on in your life but them. Initially, this might come off as dedicated and sweet, but over time it could be seen as clingy or desperate. Imagine this scenario. You text someone within seconds of receiving their messages every single time, cancel your plans to meet them whenever they call, and are perpetually available. While these actions are intended to show affection, they might begin to make the other person feel suffocated, or worse, they might take your time for granted. Here's a humorous way to look at it. Think of yourself as a TV series that's on every night. If viewers can watch it anytime, they might not bother tuning in regularly because it's always available, but make it a weekly special and watch how anticipation builds. Everyone loves a good cliffhanger, right? So why not apply this to how you manage your availability? A wise quote from the Stoic philosophy states, "Seek not that the things that happen should happen as you wish, but wish the things that happen to be as they are, and you will have a tranquil flow of life." This teaches us about acceptance and not forcing things to happen, especially in relationships. If you are always available, you may be forcing a connection that needs space to grow naturally. Stoicism teaches us to value independence and personal growth, and these values should be reflected in how we manage our relationships. For instance, if you've just met someone and felt a spark, instead of diving in head first and making yourself overly available, take a step back and give each interaction some breathing room. This spacing not only respects boundaries but also heightens interest and excitement. Each time you meet, it's not just another day, it's a special occasion that both of you can look forward to. Moreover, by not being too available, you set healthy boundaries for yourself. This is crucial for any long-term relationship or friendship. It signals that you respect yourself and your time, and this in turn teaches others to respect you as well. It's about balancing your personal space with social interactions, ensuring that your self-respect always stays intact. Consider another practical example. You're invited to join a group of friends for an impromptu outing, but you have plans to indulge in a hobby you've recently taken up. Instead of dropping your plans to join the group, you choose to honor your commitment to yourself. This decision not only boosts your self-esteem, but also subtly enhances your allure among your peers. They see you as someone with interests and commitments, which naturally makes you more intriguing. Furthermore, being less available can enrich your own life in unexpected ways. It allows you to pursue personal projects, develop new skills, or simply relax and recharge. Each of these activities builds your character and makes you a more rounded and attractive individual, not just to potential partners, but to everyone around you. So as we wrap up this discussion, remember that the core of Stoicism is not about detachedness, but about meaningful engagement. Marcus Aurelius, a famed Stoic philosopher, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." Apply this to your life by valuing your time and engaging with others appropriately as we close. I encourage you to reflect on how being too available might be affecting your relationships. Have you noticed a change in dynamics when you've given more space? Let's affirm together, I attract naturally. Keep this conversation going. Continue to strive for a balanced life and watch as your relationships transform with your newfound approach to availability. Every step back in availability you take is indeed a leap forward in building an attraction and respect. So let's dive into our second point. Avoid oversharing. When it comes to building connections, there's a fine line between being open and giving away the entire plot of your life story in the first act. It's about finding that balance where you share enough to maintain interest, but not so much that you leave nothing to the imagination. Imagine you on a first date, and instead of a playful exchange of likes and dislikes, you delve into your 5-year plan, including your thoughts on marriage, kids, and even retirement plans. It's a bit like serving dessert before the appetizer. Overwhelming and out-of-place oversharing can make the conversation feel more like an interview or worse, a therapy session, than a mutual exploration of compatibility. Stoicism, with its profound wisdom, teaches us the value of restraint and the power of mystery. Seneca once advised, "If you would not have a man, flinch when you speak. Do not speak too much." When you overshare, you risk not just boring your listener, but also burdening them with too much information too soon. This can lead to discomfort, making your new acquaintance feel pressured to reciprocate or retreat. But let's add a humorous twist to this. Think of oversharing as accidentally sending a detailed text about your job frustration to your new acquaintance instead of to your best friend. Suddenly they know more about your office drama than what your favorite movie is. It's awkward and leaves little room for the fun. The discovery phase of getting to know each other now considers a different scenario. You share a funny anecdote about a recent travel mishap, leaving out the part where you cried at the airport. This keeps the tone light and invites them to share their travel stories too, facilitating a mutual give and take that can lead to deeper conversations organically over time. The right pace for sharing personal details allows a relationship to develop depth and resilience. It builds anticipation like a good book that you can't put down, where each chapter reveals just enough to keep you hooked. This approach not only respects the natural pacing of human interaction, but also leaves your acquaintance curious and wanting more, which is a crucial aspect of attraction. Now let's tie this back to our core Stoic principles. Marcus Aurelius reminded us to be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. This can be applied to how we share about ourselves. Be generous in your listening, but disciplined in your sharing. Allow the focus to be on quality interactions, not quantity of information. Consider that oversharing might also signal a lack of self-control, which in the Stoic view is contrary to wisdom and good judgment. By holding back, you not only protect your own inner circle, but also gain the respect and interest of others who will see you as composed and self-assured. Wrapping this up, remember that every interaction doesn't need to lead to an immediate outpouring of personal histories. Take your time, enjoy the dance of dialogue, and let the details unfold naturally. This approach not only keeps conversations fresh and engaging, but also safeguards your inner peace, aligning beautifully with Stoic serenity. And before you go, I'd love to hear how you apply this principle in your interactions. Have you ever found that holding back a bit actually piqued someone's interest? Drop comments below with the affirmation, "I naturally attract love." Let's remind ourselves that in relationships sometimes less really is more. Keep this in mind and watch how your connection grows stronger and more meaningful. So folks, let's dive deep into a crucial point that many of us might overlook while in the pursuit of attraction. Don't neglect your own life. In any relationship, whether it's romantic or platonic, one of the most important things you can do is maintain a strong sense of self. Neglecting your own life for the sake of someone else is a common mistake, especially when you're deeply invested in attracting them. Stoicism teaches us the value of self-sufficiency and inner peace. By overly focusing on another person, you risk losing the foundation of your own identity. When you neglect your personal growth, goals, and happiness, you may inadvertently send the message that your worth is tied solely to the other person's approval or attention. This dynamic not only puts unnecessary pressure on the relationship, but also diminishes your value in their eyes. People are naturally attracted to individuals who are self-assured, driven, and content in their own lives. Maintaining your own life while nurturing a relationship ensures that you stay true to yourself. Continue pursuing your interests, hobbies, and goals. When you keep your passions alive, you demonstrate independence, which is often seen as attractive. A strong sense of self makes you more interesting and engaging, offering depth to the connection. If you sacrifice your life for the sake of another person, you may grow resentful over time or lose sight of who you are, making it harder for the relationship to thrive. The key is to strike a balance between being present in a relationship and maintaining your individuality. Stoicism encourages us to focus on what we can control, our own actions, thoughts, and desires. By staying grounded in your own pursuits and inner peace, you remove the pressure of trying to control the outcome of the relationship. Attraction should stem from mutual respect and admiration, not from a place of dependence or neediness. Neglecting your life to fit into someone else's world not only weakens your personal foundation, but also creates a dynamic where you are no longer seen as an equal partner in the relationship. There's also the matter of respect. People are drawn to those who respect themselves and their time. When you are dedicated to your own goals, others will see that you value your life and the direction you're heading. This naturally fosters respect and, in turn, attraction. If you're constantly available or willing to set aside your needs for another person, the balance of power shifts in a way that is neither healthy nor sustainable. Instead, live your life fully and let others choose to be a part of it, not the other way around. Additionally, maintaining your own life creates space for the other person to maintain theirs. Healthy relationships are built on mutual respect for each other's independence. This space allows both parties to grow individually, which contributes to the strength of the relationship as a whole. It's easy to get wrapped up in the idea that being with someone means always being together, but that can suffocate the attraction. Distance, in a balanced way, often strengthens the bond. Finally, focusing on your own life prevents you from placing undue expectations on the relationship. If your happiness and fulfillment depend solely on the success of your relationship, the weight of that pressure can cause strain. Relationships should complement your life, not be the sole purpose of it. By maintaining your personal goals and interests, you build a foundation that not only supports you but also creates a more natural, authentic connection with others. So let's delve into our next point. Never play the comparison game. This one is crucial because it's not just about what you do. It's about how you think and how those thoughts manifest in your interactions. Remember, in the art of attraction, especially through the lens of Stoicism, it's all about focusing on the present and appreciating each person as a unique individual. Now imagine you're out on a date and everything's going smoothly. Then you drop a comment like, "You remind me of my ex, who also loved this restaurant." It seems harmless, right, wrong, but suddenly the mood shifts. Your date wonders, am I just a replacement comparison? Even unintended comparisons can quickly sour an interaction because they shift focus. From the present connection to past shadows, this brings to mind the wise words of Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who said small-minded people habitually reproach others for their own misfortunes in the context of relationships. Constantly comparing your current interest to past flames is not just small-minded, it can be self-sabotaging. It broadcasts a lack of acceptance and appreciation for the person right in front of you. But let's lighten the mood with a little humor. Imagine you're comparing your date to someone else, but in a light-hearted sitcom-style scenario picture, you say you order pizza just like my brother. While it might get a chuckle, what it really does is plonk your brother right there between you and your date, turning a romantic dinner into a weird family gathering. Now you might think, but what if they really are like my ex or my brother? Here's the thing. Everyone may share traits or interests, but no two people are the same. Celebrate the similarities for what they bring to the table, not for how they remind you of someone else. This is crucial in Stoicism, which teaches us to see and accept things and people for what they are in the moment, without undue influence from our past. But why do we fall into this comparison trap? Often, it's a comfort mechanism, a way to navigate the unknown territory of a new relationship by relating it to past experiences. But here's a twist of wisdom from Marcus Aurelius. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. If we apply this to relationships, it means finding happiness. And connection shouldn't rely on comparisons, but should be cultivated based on the current experiences and mutual growth. So how can you avoid this trap? Start by practicing mindfulness in your interactions. Focus on the qualities that make this person unique when you find yourself drawing comparisons. Gently remind yourself to come back to the present. Recognize the value in new beginnings and the freedom from past patterns. And if you ever slip up, use it as a learning moment. Reflect on why you made the comparison and what it reflects about your own mindset and emotional state. This reflection is a cornerstone of Stoicism, allowing us to grow from our experiences and become better. Partners, as we wrap up, remember that attraction is about appreciation, not comparison. Cherish the quirks and qualities of new acquaintances as treasures to uncover, not as echoes of past relationships. Let your interactions be guided by genuine interest and respect for the person's individuality. So go ahead and comment below with the affirmation, "I celebrate the unique in everyone I meet." Let this be your mantra as you navigate the world of relationships, drawing closer to others not by comparison, but through genuine connection. Keep this affirmation in mind as you interact with new people. Let it guide you toward building meaningful, authentic relationships that are free from the shadows of comparison. This approach not only fosters healthier interactions, but also enriches your own emotional landscape, making you a magnet for positive connections. Remember, in the journey of attraction, the most captivating trait is your ability to appreciate and celebrate the present moment and the person sharing it with you. So folks, let's dive into our fifth point. Don't try to change them. One of the most common mistakes people make when trying to attract someone is attempting to change them into who they think they should be. This can range from small things, like trying to alter their habits, to larger attempts to shift their personality or values. Stoicism teaches us to accept what we cannot control, and this extends to people. Trying to mold someone into a version of them that fits your ideal not only disrespects their individuality, but also creates a strained, artificial relationship. People are attracted to those who accept them as they are, not to those who seek to reshape them. When you try to change someone, it often stems from an expectation that their behavior or character should align with what you believe is right. This expectation can lead to frustration when the person inevitably fails to meet your standards. Stoicism teaches us to release these expectations and accept others for who they are, flaws and all. This doesn't mean accepting harmful behavior, but rather recognizing that everyone has their own journey and development process. When you try to change someone, you're interfering with that process and, in turn, stifling the organic growth of the relationship. By trying to change another person, you risk creating a dynamic that feels manipulative or controlling. People sense when they are not accepted for who they are, and this often leads to resentment and resistance. True attraction flourishes in environments where both parties feel free to be themselves. If you're constantly pushing someone to behave or think differently, they may begin to pull away emotionally, seeing the relationship as a place where they cannot be their authentic selves. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-control over trying to control others. When you focus on changing someone, you shift your attention away from the only thing you truly have control over, your own actions and responses. Instead of trying to change someone else, use the principles of Stoicism to change your perspective and your reaction to their behavior. Accept them for who they are, and you may find that your relationship grows stronger as a result. When people feel seen and appreciated for their authentic selves, they are more likely to connect deeply and genuinely. Furthermore, trying to change someone often leads to unrealistic expectations. If you're constantly focusing on what someone should be, you may overlook the person they actually are. This blinds you to their positive traits and unique qualities, leaving you disappointed in a relationship that might otherwise have been fulfilling. In contrast, when you embrace someone as they are, imperfections included, you create a space for mutual growth and respect. It's this kind of acceptance that forms the foundation of lasting attraction. Finally, it's important to remember that relationships are about complementing each other, not conforming to each other. When both people can maintain their individuality while still connecting deeply, the relationship becomes a partnership of equals. Trying to change someone disrupts this balance and can lead to one person feeling inferior or inadequate. In the long run, the healthiest and most attractive relationships are those where both individuals grow together while respecting and embracing their differences. So let's delve to our next point. Avoid being negative. Keeping a positive outlook is crucial, especially when you're trying to attract someone. Remember, your vibe attracts your tribe. Negativity can seep into interactions subtly, or be as overt as a stormy cloud over your head, and it tends to push people away faster than bad Wi-Fi. Imagine you're at a coffee shop with someone new. You start talking about your day, and suddenly the conversation turns into a rant about your awful commute, terrible weather, and how your favorite coffee shop raised its prices. It's a downpour of complaints. How do you think your company feels? Probably like they're sharing an umbrella with Eeyore. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength when you exude positivity, or at least a calm acceptance of life's ups and downs. You become more pleasant to be around. It shows you can handle challenges without becoming a broadcast station for gloom and doom. Now let's say instead of complaining about the coffee prices, you quip about starting a coffee savings fund and invite them to contribute ideas. It turns a negative into a playful exchange. This doesn't just keep the atmosphere light, it shows you're someone who can make the best out of less than ideal situations. Here's another scenario. You're planning a day out and it starts raining rather than sulking. You turn it into an adventure. It looks like we're on a quest to find the best rainy day treats. This kind of positivity is infectious and attractive. It shows resilience, a key quality in both Stoic philosophy and in partners that people seek out. Being positive doesn't mean you ignore the bad things in life. It means you approach them with a mindset that emphasizes solutions and maintains good humor by demonstrating that you can stay buoyant. You not only enhance your interactions, but also draw people toward you. They see a beacon, not a storm. As we wrap this up, remember to sprinkle positivity into your interactions, like seasoning a gourmet meal. A little can go a long way. Keep the conversation uplifting, and even when things get a bit gloomy, try to find the silver lining. This approach isn't just about making you more attractive, it's about making life itself feel more manageable and enjoyable. And now I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What are some ways you keep positive? Drop a line with the affirmation, "I attract positivity." Let's keep our thoughts light and our spirits high. And remember, the most attractive thing about you is your smile. So keep shining and let's spread some positivity together. So folks, let's dive into one of the crucial aspects you should never overlook when trying to attract someone. Point number 7. Don't ignore red flags. It might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how often we choose to wear rose-colored glasses instead of seeing things as they truly are. Imagine you're getting to know someone new and exciting. It's easy to get swept up in the thrill of new affection. Right, but here's where Stoicism steps in to remind us that he who exercises wisdom exercises knowledge, which is about things that are in simpler terms. Be wise about whom you're choosing to spend your energy on. It's tempting to dismiss small issues as unimportant when everything else feels so right. However, those small issues can turn into big problems later on. For instance, let's say the person you're interested in consistently cancels plans at the last minute, or they have a habit of not respecting your boundaries. These aren't just minor annoyances. They're signs indicating a lack of respect and consideration. Ignoring these red flags can lead to greater dissatisfaction and emotional drain down the road. To add it to our discussion, consider this scenario. It's like going to a car lot and seeing a shiny car with a few dents and thinking, well, it still drives fast. But when winter rolls around, Those minor dents lead to major repairs because the car wasn't as sturdy as you thought. Just like with cars with relationships, it's important to check under the hood before you're too far down the road. Using Stoic wisdom, we can draw upon quotes like Marcus Aurelius's, "Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This isn't about settling or ignoring flaws. It's about seeing them clearly and loving fully with eyes wide open in practice. Not ignoring red flags means having open, honest conversations early on. It means not making excuses for someone's poor behavior just because you're attracted to them. It means stepping back and assessing whether this person truly aligns with your values and life goals. To wrap up, let's remember why it's essential not to ignore the warning signs, because you deserve a relationship that adds to your life, not one that constantly requires you to turn a blind eye. Be honest with yourself and don't be afraid to walk away if necessary. It's not about being judgmental. It's about being selective with who gets your time and affection. And now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below with the affirmation, "I attract what aligns with my worth," and let us know how recognizing red flags has changed your approach to relationships. Your insights not only enrich our community, but also reinforce the path of self-respect and wise choices. Thank you for tuning in, and let's keep striving for relationships that truly deserve our commitment and love. Keep growing, keep learning, and remember that ignoring a red flag might save you some trouble today, but understanding and addressing it will save you a lot of heartache tomorrow. So folks, let's dive into our 8th point. Avoid playing games. When trying to attract someone, it might be tempting to play a little cat and mouse, thinking it'll keep the flame alive. However, this approach often leads to confusion and misunderstandings, and might even backfire, leaving you both running in circles instead of moving forward together. Imagine you're trying to get someone's attention by not replying to their messages on purpose, hoping it'll make them more eager. It sounds like a good plan on paper, but in reality, it can create unnecessary anxiety and even resentment. It's like trying to bake a cake, but instead of following the recipe, you just keep turning the oven off and on, hoping it will somehow come out better. It's unpredictable, and let's be honest, a little bit of silly Stoicism teaches us to appreciate directness and sincerity in our interactions. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." This applies beautifully here. Be straightforward and honest in your intentions and actions. Playing games might seem clever, but genuine connections are built on trust and respect, which are straightforward, not puzzling. Now, why is avoiding games so crucial in attracting the right person? Because clarity in communication sets a strong foundation for any relationship. It shows that you respect yourself and the person you're interested in enough not to entangle emo in unnecessary drama. Think about it. Would you rather be known as the person who is always strategizing or the one who is confidently genuine? Let's wrap up with some motivation. Remember, the strongest relationships are built on the simplest foundations: honesty, respect, and sincerity as you go about your journey. Remind yourself and each other of your value by dropping a comment below with the affirmation, "I attract love." So folks, let's dive into our 9th point. Don't rush things in the pursuit of attraction. It's easy to want to speed through the milestones. You meet someone you like, and suddenly you're planning your whole future together. But hold your horses, or should I say, hold your chariots, as the Stoics might have advised back in the day. Remember, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. This wisdom from Lao aligns beautifully with Stoic principles, and our journey of attraction. Rushing things can feel a bit like microwaving a gourmet meal. Sure, it's faster, but the taste not quite there. Imagine you're building a campfire. You start with small twigs, and gradually add larger logs. If you dump everything on at once, hoping to blaze ahead, you're likely to smother the flames. Relationships are similar. They need time to grow from a spark to a steady flame. Tossing on the log of meeting the parents too early or pushing for a weekend getaway after just a couple of dates can overwhelm the budding connection, dousing the potential before it has a chance to truly ignite. Taking it slow allows you to savor each moment, understand each other deeply, and build a strong foundation. It's not about playing hard to get it. It's about giving the relationship the respect and space it needs to develop naturally. This approach not only strengthens the bond, but also increases the intrigue and respect between you. So take a breath, slow down, and let things unfold at a comfortable pace. Enjoy the journey of getting to know someone and let the relationship bloom in its own time. Remember, good things come to those who wait now. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below on how taking it slow has benefited your relationships. Share your stories and drop a comment with the affirmation, "I attract what aligns with my worth." Let's remind ourselves that in love and life, patience is not just a virtue, it's a strategy. Keep this in mind and watch how things unfold beautifully when you give them the time they deserve. So folks, let's dive into our 10th and perhaps most crucial point. Never forget your worth. This wraps up our core topic beautifully. The 10 things you should never do with those you want to attract, with a touch of Stoic wisdom to guide us. Remember, Stoicism isn't just about enduring pain, it's about recognizing what truly belongs to you, your self-respect and self-worth. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "If you wish to be loved, love, but let's add a little twist. If you wish to be respected, respect yourself." First, imagine this. You're at a cafe and you spot someone interesting. Instead of morphing into someone you think they'd like you, engage them as you are, confident content, and with a touch of humor about your last failed attempt at baking. It's not just the laughter that lights up the room, but the authentic "I-it" of your presence being genuine not only increases your appeal, but also sets a foundation for mutual respect and sincerity in any relationship. When you value yourself, you teach others how to value you too. No more changing your favorite music band because someone else scoffed at it, and no more pretending you enjoy sushi when you can barely stand the sight of fish. Now ending on a motivational note, always carry your dignity like your ID. It's proof of who you are. Don't let anyone make you feel like you're not enough, because you are more than enough. That's not just a feel-good statement, it's a call to action. Stand tall, live true to your nature, and let the world see what makes you unique and irreplaceable. And don't forget to drop a comment below with the affirmation, "I attract what aligns with my worth." Let's remind ourselves and each other that we're not just participants in our relationships. We're the curators of our own values and boundaries. Keep shining, keep valuing yourself, and keep attracting the kind of relationships that are worthy of you. Conclusion. As we wrap up this discussion on what not to do when you're trying to attract someone, it's clear that the wisdom of Stoicism offers timeless guidance. By grounding our interactions in reason, self-control, and respect, we can avoid falling into patterns of behavior that not only harm our relationships, but also undermine our personal growth. Let's briefly revisit each of the points we've covered. One of the first traps many people fall into is making themselves too available. When you're always present and overly eager, it might come off as desperate or needy. Stoicism teaches us that balance is key. By maintaining a sense of self-control and valuing your own time, you communicate that your life is fulfilling with or without the other person. This creates a healthier dynamic, one where both people have space to appreciate each other. In an attempt to connect, it can be easy to overshare personal details too early in a relationship. However, Stoicism reminds us of the value of temperance and prudence. By being mindful of what we share and when we share it, we respect the natural progression of getting to know someone. Oversharing too soon may overwhelm the other person or create an imbalance in emotional investment. Building a meaningful connection is a gradual process, one that requires patience and mutual trust. It's easy to get swept up in the excitement of attraction, but in doing so, some people neglect their own life, hobbies, or responsibilities. Stoicism advocates for maintaining personal discipline and a well-rounded life. A key to attracting someone in a healthy way is showing that you're fulfilled on your own and that you have passions and interests independent of the relationship. By continuing to focus on your own goals, you demonstrate that you're not dependent on the other person for your happiness, which is inherently attractive. In today's world, comparing ourselves to others is often hard to avoid, but Stoicism reminds us that comparison is a thief of joy. Constantly measuring your worth against others, or even against the other person's past relationships, can lead to feelings of insecurity and resentment. Each connection is unique, and when you focus on fostering your own strengths and attributes rather than comparing yourself to others, you create a more positive and self-assured energy that naturally draws others toward you. One of the most common mistakes in relationships is trying to change the other person to fit your ideal. Stoicism teaches us to accept people as they are, focusing only on what we can control, ourselves. When you attempt to change someone, it often leads to tension and frustration, which can erode the relationship over time. Instead, practice acceptance, respecting the person's autonomy, and appreciating them for who they are. After all, true attraction is rooted in authenticity, not in molding someone to fit your vision. Negativity is a quick way to push people away. Stoicism encourages us to rise above our circumstances and adopt a perspective of gratitude and optimism. Constantly complaining or focusing on the negatives not only affects your mood, but it also impacts those around you. By striving to remain positive and solution-oriented, you cultivate an atmosphere of warmth and calm, which makes you much more attractive to those around you. In relationships, people are naturally drawn to others who uplift and inspire them. This point ties everything together. Attraction cannot be forced. Stoicism teaches that we should approach relationships with calmness, focusing on what we can control, our own behavior, attitudes, and reactions. By maintaining a balanced, grounded presence, you allow attraction to develop naturally. Desperation or trying to force things only leads to frustration for both parties. By embracing patience and trusting the process, you allow genuine connections to form without pressure. Stoicism is about seeing the world clearly and making decisions based on rational thought rather than emotion. When you ignore red flags in a relationship, you're essentially letting your emotions overrule reason. Whether it's a lack of respect, dishonesty, or incompatible values, addressing these issues early on is crucial. Stoicism teaches that we should act in alignment with virtue, and that means respecting both ourselves and the other person enough to confront issues head-on. Ignoring red flags can lead to deeper problems down the road, so it's important to heed them while remaining calm and rational. Playing games, whether it's testing the other person, manipulating emotions, or being intentionally ambiguous, only serves to undermine trust. Stoicism values honesty and straightforwardness. When we are genuine in our intentions and clear in our communication, we foster trust and respect in our relationships. Playing games creates unnecessary tension and often leads to misunderstandings, so it's best to be open, direct, and true to your word. Authenticity is the foundation of a strong connection. These principles rooted in Stoicism can guide us toward healthier, more fulfilling relationships. By avoiding these common pitfalls, you not only become more attractive to those around you, but you also cultivate a sense of inner peace and confidence that is undeniably magnetic. Stoicism teaches us that the key to attracting others lies in being true to ourselves, remaining disciplined, and maintaining a balanced approach to life. Remember, relationships flourish when they are built on mutual respect, self-control, and patience. As you navigate the complexities of attraction and relationships, let the wisdom of Stoicism be your compass, helping you focus on what truly matters: your own growth, the well-being of others, and the cultivation of meaningful, lasting connections. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights on Stoicism.